Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Royal Productions. But if this is your first time, basically what we do here is we cover the latest in crypto, blockchain, and structural shifts happening to the financial market. If you enjoy deep dives like this, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Now, without any further ado, let's get right into this information I have for you guys today. So let's look at these markets right now. The total crypto market sitting at 2.56 trillion, fear and greed at 39. All right, Bitcoin at 76, Ethereum at 2100. If you guys want to see the rest of these prices, you can pause it really quick, check it out on your own. All right, moving on. So basically this chart right here, if you guys are new here, this blue mark is the last time we've uploaded a video. And as you guys can see, the last time we uploaded the video, we talked about these key levels right here. It came down, it spiked down here below the levels, and then it shot back up. Remember, not financial advice. Always do your own charting and your own analysis. You can't follow someone else's code. Find your own. Okay, let's get into this news I have for you for this morning. Bitcoin demand gauge sinks to the worst level since December as spot buyers weakens. Okay, Michael Saylor's strategy taps cash reserves to retire 1.5 billion in convertible debt. Okay, Strive acquires 1,109 Bitcoin, raising total holdings to 16,000 coins. All right, Stable R freezes USDR and EURR after attack mints 13 million in tokens, unbacked tokens. Okay, all right. And some lighter news. I love this. XRP Ledger to delete NFT junk and patch key bugs and new upgrades. Okay, they're not playing. They're getting rid of all the dead weight. They don't need it on their ledger. Okay, moving on. Kathy Wood says institutions are buying Bitcoin while weak holders exit the market. Okay, all that coming up next. All right. First article I have for you guys today. Bitcoin demand gauge sinks to the worst level since December as spot buying weakens. So basically, I'm going to open my Patreon where I rant and talk about this stuff more in depth, but I'm just going to cover these articles for you guys here because this news comes out fast and I just want to get it to you guys and then move on. But basically, the apparent demand indicator is negative, signaling that the buyers aren't absorbing the available supply, leaving the market vulnerable. So basically, the retail investors are not buying the supply that comes on to Bitcoin. There's a lot of institutional growth, but in my opinion, what I think has happened is these leverages, people who position too highly or too lowly and use leverage, it burns you out, especially with this manipulation right now, this sideways action that's happening between these key levels. It's you know what I mean? It can burn you out if you don't know what you're doing. Okay, but basically pay attention to this, and this next article ties into this as well. These are key levels, like I just said. But basically, strategy taps cash reserve to retire 1.5 billion in convertible debt. Michael Saylor and his team funded the repurchase using cash as a restructuring liability tied to its Bitcoin treasury strategy. So this was built into their system already, so it's not good nor bad. But basically what I want us to look at here is this right here. Strategy holds about 843,000, acquired at an average price of 75,000 per coin. Okay, so they're almost negative right now, okay, as you can see here. And I think a lot of these companies, if they're not smart, if they don't have a good cash flow to help them with the debt and help them when the reserves come down, because this is connected to their treasury and stuff like that. Remember, this is part of the strategy. But a lot could happen if this company, if Bitcoin goes to see, with Bitcoin there has been 50% drops before, so it's not like it can't happen. But my point being is just be aware of what's happening with this market, okay? Because if this goes under and they need to sell some money to pay some people, then trust me, these little retail people are gonna get wiped out. All right, moving on. Strive acquires 1,000 Bitcoin, raising the total holding to 16,000 per coin. So like I said, it's not good nor bad, but the thing about it is these big institutions are coming in. So in my opinion, we're gonna cover later what Kathy says about diamond hands and people and institutions and stuff like that, but I think this market was brought down on purpose so these big institutions can come in and have that level playing field. You know what I mean? Because I don't know. It's just one of them things where it's say if Bitcoin does crash, who's going to get stuck with holding that bag? You know what I mean? So institutions are coming in, retail is starting to sit out the way, and there's a lot of manipulation now. And I think that's probably one of the major reasons why retail is sitting out, because of the manipulation they see. And like I said, bringing the market down, bringing it up. Like, look at these. When you understand and you look at like the stuff, look at this wick. Like, this is basically, they grabbed a whole bunch of people here and shorted it. But anyways, you have to understand what's happening with the manipulation. It's real and it's happening, especially with Bitcoin. Okay, so be aware, read these articles, understand what's in them. Okay, moving on. So this is another thing that you have to be aware of if you're moving into this new infrastructure and global financial system. Understand where your money and what your money is pegged to, and if that operating system is safe. But basically, stable freezes USDR and EURR after attackers mint 13 million in unbacked tokens. So basically, this was a pegged 1-for-1 like dollar, like how we have it right here, 1-to-1 backing required by Mika. This is what you have to do. If you have $1 on the internet, you have to have it backed with real assets like a treasury or some type of bond or anything like that. Okay. But basically, they minted 3.5 million of unbacked tokens, and they netted about 2.8 million. So when that happened, following the breach, the token briefly lost 50% of its peg. So it was at 99.4, almost 1-to-1 ratio, like we just spoke of, and now is sitting at 0.548. So just think about that. Imagine you move on to this new system. Yes, I love crypto. I love all this. You put $1,000 in, $10,000 in, something like this happens because you were unaware of the service you were using, and now you're sitting at half of your capital. So be aware of what's happening here. You know, this is not no FUD. This is happening all the time. You just have to know what you're getting involved with. Okay, moving on. So this is cool. I love this because XRP ledger to delete NFT junk and patch new key bugs. So, like, I'm pretty sure a lot of the companies are doing this. I just particularly pay more attention to XRP, but the XRP ledger is rolling out a fixed cleanup upgrade on Wednesday, requiring validators and nodes to update their software or risk being disconnected from the network. So, you know, I love it because they're moving ahead, they're fixing things, and they're making sure that the people who are operating on these nodes are active. You just can't have players sitting there who, I don't know, it's like a bench player. We don't need no bench players in this system. We need people who are active, who are doing things, who are helping us grow. You know what I mean? As a community. Okay, moving on. The amendment cleans up their entire expired NFT offers, fix bugs in permission domain settings, enforces trust line limit on vault withdrawals, and corrects loan accounting so all related records update properly. So there's a lot. I'm not really into like the ledger too much. I'm aware of the NFT markets, and I'm aware of Zum Wallet and all of that and how it works, DeepSeek, all of that, you know. But it's one of them things where they are cleaning up the system. Okay, so it's good. I love it. All right, moving on. Kathy Woods says institutions are buying Bitcoin while weak holders exit the market. Okay, that's plain and simple right there. But basically, Kathy Woods says institutions are buying Bitcoin while weak holders continue to exit the market. ARK Investor believes institutional adoption is becoming the biggest long-term driver for Bitcoin growth. Active Bitcoin addresses dropped 39%, falling from 800,000 to 494,000 over the last 2 weeks. So people are not active on the market anymore. Well, I'm pretty sure they're paying attention to it, like myself. We're there, but it's like, nah. This is sus, bro. We're waiting for the clarity. We're waiting for all this. You know what I mean? So I think it's fear. My advice, not financial advice, is DCA. Continue investing. Follow what these institutions are doing. Okay, you like. It makes no sense that they're still, you know what I mean, buying. I'm not going to say Bitcoin, but the whole market in general. There's plenty of options out there. Again, my name is Louis. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content, and I'll be back soon. Peace.